that we invest other people's money on the African continent, and I think today we are probably the largest investor of that kind of capital on the continent. We invest in public equity markets, private equity markets, debt markets, both public and private as well. I think that what we've seen, and we had a fantastic conference here in Cape Town over the last 3 days, organized by very large media companies, and a lot of attendance from people around the world. And what we've seen is, I think, a new appreciation of the investment opportunity in Africa. A sense that, this is not a transitional opportunity, this is a real opportunity, and that in a world where developed markets are faced by significant growth challenges, the growth opportunity in Africa is one that speaks to people who are looking to grow their assets.
Yeah.
And so what we see is a significantly increased interest in potentially deploying capital into the growth markets of Africa. Today we run money for clients from the US, Europe, Asia, and Australia into these markets, and we're seeing increasing interest and increasing demand. And I think the whole process of the World Cup, the improved perceptions of Africa as a consequence, and the resultant interest in investment opportunities in Africa will give us the opportunity to increase these assets.
Well, certainly with opportunities flash, I mean, where exactly are we looking? What kind of home are you targeting when it comes to countries on the continent, and then sector-wise as well?
Yeah, look, I think one of the things that we've seen is that many investors initially look at Africa as a commodity story.
Yeah.
And they're looking for commodity investment opportunities, where, in fact, the commodity-related investment opportunities are there, but they're not as plentiful as people would generally expect. I think that where we see the significant opportunity is in the rise of the African consumer. Mm-hmm. You've seen that in telecom sectors, and I think those have been the early leaders, and they've shown the way, and in many ways, I think, sketched the opportunity for other consumer-based opportunities.
With that reliance on rising consumer demand, I mean, John, what kind of growth forecasts are you working with here in respect to, let's look at two economies that you do have a keen eye on, and that's Kenya and Nigeria?
Look, I think growth forecasts is something that many people throw around, and what we know is that if one looks generically at growth in those countries and more broadly in sub-Saharan Africa, it is without doubt going to exceed those of the developed markets, and potentially also exceed those of the newly sort of emerging markets, the large. Mm-hmm. Ones of Brazil, India, China, and so on. So what we know is that growth is not the problem. In many instances, the problem is accessing that growth. And I think what we look to do is find the investment opportunities which give global investors the opportunity to access that growth.
Talking about accessibility to growth, I mean, we know that in Kenya, privatization is high on the agenda. To what extent is that acting as motivation for you, turning your attention that way?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think the privatization opportunity in terms of so for us, the opportunity to continue to grow the assets we deploy on the continent is the combination of two things. One, interest from investors, mm-hmm. and two, investment opportunity. I've discussed the point about interest from investors, and I think that's just going to continue to increase. The investment opportunity, obviously, also has to be there, and the whole question of privatization and the opportunity set that privatization brings for external investors is a very positive one. And as you say, places like Kenya, it's been active, and we've been a very active investor in that. So we're very positive about the joining up of demand and opportunity, and hence we see that the assets we deploy could grow to the extent that we suggested.
Is there, with all of that having been said, John, I mean, is there an outside chance that Investec could more than triple, to the extent that it's already stipulated to its African assets that are under management?
Absolutely. I mean, we're incredibly confident about that. We think that these two forces, the force of demand and the force of opportunity, are working very well at the moment. And we think that, the world's attention on Africa and the opportunity for growth that Africa presents, it will really facilitate that process. So we're incredibly confident, and we're very excited about it, because we think that investment capital will be a big participant in unlocking the potential of the continent. And it's key. What investment capital creates is sustainable economic development, and it really drives a future that is one that can be built upon.